Good morning, good morning. It is 6:57. I woke up earlier than my alarm because all of a sudden there was a loud noise and it sounded like water, and Olive had obviously jumped on the things above the shelves above the sink, and the book started to fall, and when she jumped down she turned the water on. So now Nola's mad at her because she's like, why'd you do that? So anyway, but good morning to me. But I try to explain to Nola, of course she's not gonna understand, but I try, that I'm like, she's still learning, she gets playful during the night and you're not ready to play with her. So, she's trying to find other things, but she's learning as she goes along that there are certain things that are not a good idea. Like that, and then the bookshelf one, which I don't know if I ever said that on the vlog. Two of my bookshelves come to like a T together, so there's a slot because they're up against a corner, but there's a space, and so she jumped on top of one and didn't realize, because there's a lot of stuff on top of it, and she fell in between the bookshelves, and so thankfully I was able to move one enough for her to get out. But needless to say, she hasn't tried that again. Hi. It has been, pardon my French, one hell of a day, and now I have not even that. I have 14 minutes until, not even that. I have 8 minutes until I technically am going to be home to start working for Food and Wine for the other job. The day started off good, but we just got a really crazy lunch rush that consisted of a lot of parties that were really, really loud, and I had no way to like protect my ears from that, and so that was very, very overstimulating. Not to mention that we had tons of production to do, which normally was fine, and we weren't even all that busy up at the counter. It was so loud, and we had a lot of like intricate cake orders, but then there was also one that I was taking that while she was on the cake orders, her two children were in the back smacking the absolute, pardon my French, smacking the absolute shit out of each other. And I was like, what in the world is happening? And so that was a lot. And so now I'm just not in a good mood. I have not been in a good mood for like the second half of the day. I got our like breakfast special, which was it was like a pancake, but it was like covered with fruit. And first of all, the chef pretty much forgot to make it, and Aisha had to go remind him. Not had to, she chose to, because I didn't want to go remind him. And so then he was like, oh yeah, but when I got it, the blueberries were like super mushy and like kind of gross, and so it wasn't great. There were tons of blueberries on it, so like everything else, the strawberries and the banana were great, and the pancake itself was, but like the blueberries were like, ugh. And so that was disappointing. And then we, got hit with that crazy rush. So everything was overstimulating. Everything is loud. And then it didn't like stop. Like the rush itself stopped, but we had consistently people still coming in, which is fine because then we're not bored. But I was like, I could really use a moment to myself, but I couldn't really go take it. And then by the time, it was time for me, and then my mom came in and had lunch, which was great, but she got in there a little bit later than she anticipated, and apparently, according to her, Olive is running around like an absolute nut, and so Nola kind of feels like she's confined to the cat tree, which that's just something they're gonna have to figure out, right? Like, Olive's gonna have to realize she can't try to play with her every single time, and she's also, Nola's gonna have to get used to the fact that that's Olive's personality. She has those moments. But I can already tell that it's gonna be a rough night. I can tell it's gonna be a night full of tears because I've like felt like and then not to mention that, but I put in my lunch order. Of course, I put in my lunch order late because I was like, I'm just gonna take it to go and I don't want it to sit there. And he's not really our cook, but he helps with stuff, and I am not the biggest fan of him. And like, my sandwich is done and he didn't toast it like he was supposed to, didn't even care to do that. And I'm like, I have no time to complain, and I'm not going to because I have to leave. But like, you know, and apparently he was mad because he has to do whatever back there, and it's just all of us, we're just not in a great mood. And so it's just, I can already tell it's gonna be a rough night. I'm glad I'm gonna have my mom here for a little bit of it to kind of help keeps the cats sort of busy while I start work. But I'm done. I'm done with the day. It's been way too much. I'm done with this week. It's been not terrible, but it's kind of felt like that at times.
So fortunately, Food and Wine Festival, I only worked until about like 7:55, so it's about 4.5 hours. Thank goodness. And it was not as tedious and not as exhausting as I was expecting, which was really nice. And overall, Nola and Olive did pretty well, which was nice. Yeah, that helped a lot. It is 10:08 and I'm in bed though, just kind of hanging out. I'm excited because tomorrow I'm going to 3 book sales, 2 different library book sales, and then there's a bookstore that is unfortunately closing. And so all of they're only open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and they are, hi Olive. They're already a used bookstore, but all of their books are also an additional half off. So I'm going to be over in that area for one of the book sales. So I kind of already have my route planned. I do also need to like stop at the bank. I might need to stop at the store briefly. So, you know, need to go out and do some stuff, which is fine because even after a, you know, crazy week like this has been, I can't sit home the entirety of a day. It doesn't work out well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to having tomorrow to do what I want to do, because it has definitely just been a really emotionally exhausting week, as you all have seen. So let's hope that that kind of can help turn itself around. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. All my social media is in the description. Love you all.